Alright. Welcome to a brand new SH Monsterarts review. Today, we're finally taking a look at it. We are finally taking a look at Suko and Mothra. Well, obviously at first, it is in its shipping box, in which we got to remove this shipping box. Here we are. This box is a lot bigger than I expected. Now this is gonna be interesting because fun fact, I do not have any of the SH Monsterarts Mothras from KOTM. I never got them. I am also intrigued to see the Suko and what that will look like in this higher quality form, because obviously all I've owned of Suko up to this point was that Playmates toy. And most importantly, this has the metal tooth Kong face head. This is what I need to complete the Beast Glove Kong. But obviously, before we can do any of that, we need to take a look at the box itself. So here is the beautiful box art, which I just mentioned at the beginning. It's a lot bigger than I expected. This box is bigger than the Scar King's box, and it's bigger than Kong's box. Interesting, but it's still pretty thin to say the least, which makes sense. I'm just taken aback by the sheer size of this. So, let's look at the art. We got Mothra right there, we got Suko right there, we got the SH Monsterarts logo right there, and the movie logo, Suko and Mothra from Godzilla Kong, The New Empire. Logos down here, logos down here. Then we've got the top, then we've got the bottom, then we've got this side, then we've got this side, and finally, of course, we have the back. This is probably like the one they pushed as the frontier. Then we have other shots of Mothra on the stand. Then we have some different expressions for Suko, and then just to show you that you have that metal tooth roaring Kong headpiece, they did some art with Kong. There's him walking with Suko, and then here's just Kong. What ultimately matters is the contents within this box. So let's crack this bad boy open and take a look at Suko and Mothra. Oh, I didn't expect this. This came in 2 boxes, one for each figure. So it is like unboxing Lego, but here is the instruction sheet, which we'll look at in a second. So here's the Suko and all his other components, as well as that Kong headpiece, roaring metal tooth headpiece, and then some additional stands here. And then box number 2 is the Mothra, and it's just the Mothra figure herself and the additional stands to prop her up on. So that's the contents of this box. Interesting. They really did separate this really well, like a full Lego set. Okay, this really feels like I'm working with a Lego set here. And on the topic of Lego, well, here's the instruction sheet showing you everything you need to know about the set. For example, what to do with the Kong, which we will do in this video, what to do with the stand, how to assemble it and put Suko in it to show the different features, which we will also do, swapping them out, other accessories here. And then on the back here, we have the instructions for Mothra and everything you need to know about her. So, very straightforward and simple instruction sheets, just showing you what to do there, which we will of course do it all in this video. So, the question is, how do we approach this? What do we review first? I think we're gonna do Mothra first, and then Suko, and then we'll do the Kong head swap at the very end. Let's do the Mothra first. Okay, first order of business, let's assemble the stand together. So it just goes in like that. And we take this little claw piece. The idea of that is to like grip her body so she can actually be propped up on the stand. But in doing so, that will prevent me from actually reviewing the Mothra first. So let's review the figure first, then we'll prop her up on the stand. So, I mean, was I expecting much out of her? Obviously not. She is one of the tiniest titans. So I wouldn't be surprised on what to expect for an SH Monsterarts quality of her. This is kind of what I was expecting, and I'm not disappointed. Like, I expected this. I'm happy with what I got here. I do like the color scheme because this really lets her color scheme shine. Way more high quality than the Playmates one, that's for sure. I mean, I am comparing a filet mignon to a minute steak in this scenario, but she is a much higher price tag. Therefore, I would expect higher quality from the coloring, and yes, we did get that. I do like the shininess you get from the gold reflecting off her wings. I think that's pretty good. I think it gives that glossiness. It gives that majestic feel to it, and I think that's done pretty well. And with her inner wings, it's, you know, pretty much the same, but smaller. But they don't shy away from the details on that either. And I think that looks great. The legs, I mean, the whole body, the whole thing is just in this gold color. And it's good. I think they've done what they can with the consistency. There is definitely consistency for sure, and I'm impressed. Now let's see how well the camera can pick up her face. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see her face pretty well. That's good details. I do like that emerald eye color. No stinger. I mean, that's to be expected. And apart from that, that's pretty much it in terms of the colors. I mean, it feels very light. Obviously, I can just hold this with a finger and it won't feel heavy. Like, she's the polar opposite compared to Shimo in terms of size, of course, but also weight. She is light as a feather here. Like, you can chuck her easily, but please don't do that because the articulation is very sensitive. Like, you know how thin these legs and wings are? That means they can snap very, very easily. So please take good care of it. But the articulation involves, you know, just your basic movements on the legs. It's very minor. It's nothing that special, but it's very flimsy, as you can see. So please be super careful. Her main articulation is, of course, with the wings. So, of course, you can move the wings. It's on like a ball socket, but it's super, super stiff. You can also fold it forward like this. Yeah, like that. So that's pretty nice. And then her inner wings can do the same thing. Flap, flap, flap. Boom. So it's straightforward. And I do not have any KOTM Mothras, as I just said earlier. So I can't really do a good comparison in terms of Mothras, but you know, for SH Monsterarts, knowing the price tag, I would have expected more. But honestly, I shouldn't be expecting more because Mothra is one of the tiniest titans, as I said, so there shouldn't be much expectations for her, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's a good thing they also include Suko in this set. If you're paying $120 for this, that is not justified. You're definitely getting ripped up. So thank God they included Suko in to at least give Mothra a bit of a justification. However, if she was to be released as a figure of her own, she definitely should have been like $40 at most. That's already being generous. And remember, this is SH Monsterarts, so $40 is quite generous in my opinion. I'd give her a solid 7. It's nothing too impressive, but it's nothing, you know, that I would be disappointed by. So it's to be expected. Now, size comparison wise, well, here's Kong. That's roughly the same size, yeah. And then we have the inaccurate Scar King, who is not supposed to be bigger than Kong, but here we are. And of course, we have her best mate, Godzilla. Yeah, see, this makes sense. They have a special relationship, as you may know from the lore. And then finally, the big girl herself, Shimo. Yeah, I mean, this is literally a David versus Goliath situation here. Now, lastly, let's prop her up on the stand. Let's see if I can prop her up on the stand. Yeah, like that. And then we just sit her. Oh my God, I can actually properly display her in my room. This looks great. You know, there was a big issue with the Haya stands and that they're not really stiff. They don't actually prop the figure on really well because sometimes the figure's too heavy, so it just collapses under the weight. Bendai's case here has ensured that that does not happen with their SH Monsterarts stuff. Look at this. I am literally flinging the figure around and it ain't flying out. Thank God. There is security. There is security on this. That is good. So Mothra being a titan on wings, this is what I was expecting. Obviously, don't do what I just did. But yeah, I mean, the posability, don't expect much in terms of posability, but I would recommend you display her like this because that way you can see the design of her wings very, very nicely if you have her displayed like this and just sit her on the shelf like this. Boom. I'm gonna increase my score to an 8 after seeing this. I'm gonna give her an 8 out of 10 because this stand actually does its job, unlike Haya's. So very, very nice. Now, obviously, we do also have the Suko, so the review's not over yet. So let's review the Suko now. Alright, this is definitely the tiniest SH Monsterarts figure I've ever held. This is like, I'm holding a Lego minifigure. That's what it feels like. This is small. Like, to give you a perspective, here's this Godfather, Kong. Yeah, I guess this makes sense. Yeah, I think the scaling is accurate. Again, let's pitch him next to Scar King, our lore inaccurate Scar King. Oh my god, this is a David versus Goliath situation again. This is so funny. And then we have Goji. I mean, this would kind of make sense if these two ever interacted, which they didn't in the movie. I wish they did. I mean, Suko is supposed to be taller than a human. Remember, Suko is roughly the size that Kong was in Kong Skull Island. This was roughly how big Kong was in 1970-ish. I think that was the time that movie took place, in the 70s. Yeah, Godzilla would have just stomped him. And finally, we got Shimo herself. Look at that. If Shimo fought Kong from 1970, Kong would not stand a chance. He's the size of Shimo's head. That is actually insane. Does that mean articulation and everything else is bad? Well, I wouldn't say so. For one, he looks more like what he's supposed to look like in the movie, meaning the Playmates one made him look too toyish, too cartoony. This is like a more glossy, refined look, if you will. And he does have articulation. Bendai did not sacrifice his articulation for his tiny size. I think the coloring is quite accurate. It has little shadings of darker brown throughout the figure, so there is a little subtle detail there. And then we have just black feet, black hands, and then black on the face. So he actually has multiple hands and faces here. I really wish I could talk more about the color, but that's it. That's how tiny this guy is. So let's move on straight into articulation. So for starters, one of the biggest surprises that I got with this figure is that he still has waist articulation. With how small the size is, he's still got a ball socket on his waist. Look at that. Waist articulation. Very nice. And then it's not just one. There are 2 points of waist articulation. 1, 2. Look at that. That is awesome. They did not shy away with waist articulation, which is great because if you want him in a true monkey / gorilla form, have him go down on all fours, you can. Granted, you probably gotta have a better foundation, but you can because of the 2 ball sockets on his waist. So that's really, really nice. Now, other points, we've got the arms, of course. So this up and down. We have the elbow right here. Elbow articulation. You can sort of, ooh, look at that. You can have him like cover his face. Okay, yeah, you can get some good facial expressions to this. Hands, of course, are on ball sockets, which then you can pry out to replace with the other ones. And the same with this arm right here. Up, down, elbow articulation. Oops, I just tore off his entire arm. Don't do that. And then finally, you got his leg articulation. And then you have his knee articulation here, feet articulation here. That's about it. So yeah, there is plenty of articulation for a tiny figure like him. They did not shy away from the articulation. Thank God. Thank God for that, especially with that price tag. Thank God I didn't cheap out. With how small this guy is, I'm genuinely impressed that there's still articulation for him. So props to Bendai. There are additional faces and additional hands, which I just said in the beginning. I will not be swapping the hands, but that doesn't mean I can't show you. But they are so tiny, it's so hard to like really dissect them and look at them in great detail. And like they're already falling out of my hands, as you can see. Like they are so, oh my, they are so tiny. It's actually ridiculous. So like, this is as best as I can give you. So pause the video. If you really want to look at this in great detail, pause the video and look at them. And in the extra hits, we got 3 of them. I think the one I'm gonna go for is the roaring one, because right now we have him in his like stressed out, worried look. The poor man, look at him. He's freaking out. First one, here we have just a neutral one. Just a smug looking Suko face. This one's more scared.
instead of stressed. This one looks more, I guess, worried. That's his worried face. And then this one, I'm gonna use this one, the roaring face. One that he's opening his mouth. I'm gonna do the swap quickly off camera, but there's also the stand. There's a stand for this Suko, just because of how small he is. The budget allowed him to get a stand. I swapped the face, as you can see. So I got the roaring face on, so now we gotta assemble the stand. So you can choose between the big clamp or the small clamp. And I'm gonna go with the big clamp here. Stick Suko in here. Solid foundation. He has something that can prop him up. This kind of funny though, because if you really think about this, is like a claw machine that's like holding him in place. He kind of looks like Frankenstein's monster, if you will, just chained up to a machine like this. It is to help him stand up so he doesn't topple over. So this is really important. You can choose not to use this to display the Suko. I will, because this will guarantee he ain't gonna fall over if I accidentally like hit the shelf or an earthquake hits or something. You can put him in poses that you normally could not do without the assistance of a stand like this. Now remember, there are additional pieces. I don't know what the small clamp's for. It's just for his like hands or something, for his arms. I would assume so, but the big clamp of course is to hold the entire body, so that's probably the more important one. But there you go. That's your Suko in the stand. The stands actually work. Hiya, why doesn't your stands work? Before we go to the final verdict, we still got the additional Kong head, which we gotta look at. So let's do that. Okay, this is the headpiece I was talking about. So this is Kong with that metal tooth, but roaring. So this is the final piece, because I think that's it. I don't like how they've scattered all of these Kong heads throughout different figures in order to entice you to buy the other figures. Like, I would want to buy these figures because I like the figures, not because I want an additional Kong piece, you know what I'm saying? But the Beast Glove one being in the Scar King, I just felt it was unfair. They shouldn't have done that. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is gonna be secondary to a lot of people's minds when they buy this set. They're gonna think, oh, I want to get Suko and Mothra, not, oh, I want to buy this Kong headpiece, so I'm going to spend $120 on this set just for this headpiece. You know what I'm saying? So this is like a bonus. This is a side dish, if you will. What we're going to do in this video, of course, is we're going to do the final swap. So I got my Kong here. So this is my Build-A-Kong. I'm sure everyone else who's been collecting these figures have also been working on their Build-A-Kongs. The actual Kong figure itself, I still don't know if it's still for sale. I haven't seen it in a while, so I wouldn't know. But right now, all I have so far is this. So this is his metal tooth head, but his snarling form, not his roaring form. You get this from the Shimo. Like I said in the Shimo review, you wouldn't buy that Shimo figure, spend $340 on that figure just for this headpiece. That's a bonus. And the same can be said with this roaring face here. But this is the one I wanted, so we might as well do the swap. And then I can deem this Kong figure as completed. Let's pry off the head.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
It's done. This is the Kong I was expecting. So now we raise the Beast Glove up a little bit. And there we go. So like I said, you can very well use the other headpieces, but because these were included with these other SH Monsterart products, you know, you might as well make do with it. You paid your money for this, you might as well make use of it. And I think this looks great. But that's the beauty of SH Monsterarts, is that it's fully customizable. You can do it in whatever way you want, in whatever combinations you want. But this is my version of it, which I'm sure a lot of other people who own this will also run the same combo. Now just one more time, size comparison of Suko. God damn, Suko is tiny. The only thing that I do not like about this thing, this set, is the price. Why in God's holy name would you charge $120 for this? 120 Canadian dollars, I should probably add. This doesn't feel or look like $120. This, at most, 60 bucks. Maybe 70, fine, 70 bucks. $74.99. Basically, it's 60 bucks each. 60 bucks for a tiny Suko.
and a tiny Mothra. I'm sorry, I cannot stand behind that. It looks great. Don't get me wrong, I really like. It's just so freaking expensive. And I guess it makes sense for Shimo, given of how big Shimo is, but look at the size of these two compared to Shimo. It ain't justified. I get it. This is Bendai. This is supposed to be SH Monsterarts. This is supposed to be higher end. But you don't have to make a figure past 3 digits all the time, guys. Come on. Making something expensive would just push away collectors and discouraging them to spend their money. I'm sure there are some people who want to pick this up, but decided not to just because it's too expensive. Don't buy it at full price. Don't do what I did. Pick it up for a discount. Seriously. Price aside, I am very happy with how this set turned out. The stands actually work. I struggled with the stands for Hiya Toys. You would see, I struggled with those stands, but they work brilliantly for the SH Monsterarts line. So Bandai did a good job of it. Now, as I mentioned with the Kong headpiece, the metal tooth piece, it is what it is. It's a side dish, it's a bonus thing. It's not the first thing that will come to my mind when I pick this setup. I'm here for Suko and I'm here for Mothra. Now, in terms of the lineup altogether, I'm sure you want to see the full lineup, so let's try to get all these guys in.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
I still remember just getting the Godzilla back in December of last year. And I thought, wow, it's gonna be a long time till we have the full lineup. Well, here we are in July of 2025 and we have the full lineup. It's complete. It's been well over a year since the movie came out. A lot of people, including myself, have moved on from the movie, but I do occasionally come back to review these things. But me personally, I've moved on from the New Empire. I'm ready for Supernova. I'm ready for what's next. But I would like to assume that the Suko and Mothra here remains as the last SH Monsterarts product for the New Empire. Obviously, we have a new Mechagodzilla coming and other SH Monsterarts figures on the way, but in terms of the New Empire, I think that's it. Unless they do like a Tiamat, or a Drowned Viper, or Scylla. I mean, there is a Hiya Toys Scylla coming, so I don't know if Bendai would do it for the SH Monsterarts line. I don't know. But this is the shot that I have been anticipating since December of 2024. Let me know what you guys think of this Suko and Mothra set. Ultimately, I think it's a good thing that both Suko and Mothra is put together in one set instead of being sold separately. God forbid if the Suko sold on its own. Overall, the entire set, the Suko Mothra set, I will give it a 8 out of 10. Everything else here, I'm going to have to make a tier list. So, starting it at number 1, I'm gonna say Godzilla. Number 2, Shimo. Number 3 will be Mothra. Number 4 is Kong. 5 is Suko, and last place, dead last place, is Scar King, who looks very ugly. That's why Mothra is kind of blocking him. That Scar King is not my favorite. I'm sure you guys are well aware, having seen the review of that. Thanks for watching this review. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and check out all the reviews I've done previously for the older figures here. I think I'm done for now until Mechagodzilla comes out, which is like at the end of this year, so it's gonna be a while. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.